Good morning. Happy Monday. And I'm just going to go right out and say it. Yesterday was about as great of a day as I could ever hope for. Like, this is the kind of day where my low is that the day had to end. Actually, that's not entirely true. The day did end, and unfortunately, regarding the very last thing I was doing throughout the day, I was getting kind of sleepy. So, but I got through it, but I'll talk about that momentarily. My high was, let's see, I went to a benefit for, in honor of one of Horsehead's finest. I went to Gristine Brewing Company Cheesefest. I celebrated Cinco de Mayo at my family's house. We had I'll talk about dinner in a second. And I ended the day watching the greatest roast of all time. Oh yeah. We got a lot to unpack. So I headed on over to Round and Third. And it was a big, the first two things I'm going to talk about, the turnouts at both places were great. They just would have been a lot better were it not for how the weather was. And the sad part is it didn't even rain. It was just really cloudy and kind of cool. But both places I went to, there were major turnouts. The first was the benefit for that investigator Mike Teague, I think his name is. I've never known how to pronounce his name. At Round and Third, $10 to get in. Benefit to go to him and his family because he's in critical condition right now. And it was wonderful. The food there was good. There was pasta salad. There was potato salad. There was hot dogs, meatballs, chicken speedies, boneless wings, and a pizza. That was all very good. Hung out there for about. I was there a lot longer than I was supposed to be. I actually should have left at around 2 o'clock, but I stayed till almost 3. And then I scrambled and hauled it to get to a Grist Diner immediately afterwards. And I hung out there for a little while. I saw the owners of Peas Macarons. Shout out to Peas Macarons. Saw them there. I swore I wasn't going to buy anything. But there was this one garlic and G.I.B cheese from this one creamy, I'm forgetting the name, but they're from Nichols, New York. I got some of that cheese and I gave that to my mom for safekeeping. And there was a whole bunch of samples to try there. It was all very, very good. I actually ran into a cheese that was actually almost too strong for even me. There was this one creamery that was there that had this reserved Gouda, and the Gouda itself, at first glance, it looked okay, you wouldn't know, but there's there's this cube of Mexican sugar. It looked like this, right? Mexican sugar, it's brown and really dark looking. It looked like that. I tried it, and man, it almost whooped my fanny. It did. I said it was almost too strong for me. And I did like it. Hands down though, the best places that I saw from last year were the place I just told you I got the garlic herb cheese from. Actually, they're all great. I shouldn't say one was better than the other. Some of them were definitely more memorable than others, to be sure. But there really was no one vendor there that was better than everybody else. Everyone was great, man. There was this one vendor that specialized in different flavors of popcorn. There was one vendor where they stuffed cheese inside of pepperoni. They stuffed cheese inside of a giant pickle. I'm like, how did they do that? You don't ask questions. You just watch and awe. And it was all so good. I actually, no kidding. For someone who actually makes his own pickles, one thing, I know you can pickle virtually anything, I've never had pickled meat before. I tried a piece of pickled pepperoni and I did like it. But for me, it really is something of an acquired taste. I mean, listen, I'm the kind of guy that really will eat virtually anything with the exception of like olives and cottage cheese. Those are like the two things I will I don't want, like, well, at least cottage cheese for sure I don't want within 50 feet of me. As for olives, I mean, if there's one olive on a salad, I'll eat it. And actually, I've had some recipes that have olives in it before. So, again, I'm not the biggest fan of olives. I would still avoid them at all costs if possible. Let's see. So yeah, I was at grist time until about, for about an hour and 15 minutes roughly. So I was there for a while. And then I headed home, see some mom and dad, and we got there. My mom made nachos in honor of Cinco de Mayo, and nachos were really good. We had and for dinner we had a salad, we had soup, we had a chicken tortilla soup, which is very good. And for the actual entree, my mom made mashed potatoes, steak, and mushrooms. And my mom made them on her new grill that she got for herself for Mother's Day. And it was great. I mean, it was just a great day all around. So I hurried back here and I tried to get as ready for bed as I could because I saw the greatest roast of all time. Oh yeah, man. Like, for those of you who don't know what a roast is, it started like way back in like the 80s and 90s where famous celebrities would tell very naughty jokes about, virtually whoever was being roasted or to the guests of honor or, people on the dais. And it would be for charity. And, I remember back when Comedy Central had the roast for like Flavor Flav and Dennis Leary, Larry the Cable Guy, Jeff Foxworthy, David Hasselhoff, Donald Trump had a roast once. Again, like the list will go. Oh, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was like the last big roast that Comedy Central had that I recall, that I remember watching. Like, this is like the first legitimate roast in years. I mean, Jeff Ross did come out with historical roasts on that, which is actually a very underrated show on Netflix. I wish it didn't get canceled. I mean, I know why it got canceled because of the Anne Frank episode. I'm just saying, I didn't think that episode was that offensive. I mean, listen, at least not as offensive as people were making out. I mean, it's a roast. The jokes you hear on a roast are far more vulgar and far more personal than you hear watching someone like a Dave Chappelle or a Bert Kreischer or an Elijah Schlesinger or a Matt Rife or Brad Williams, doing their stand special. Like, these jokes hit and they hit hard. But they're also very, very, very funny. So when I heard that Netflix was going to do a live roast for the GOAT himself, Tom Brady, I'm like, I need to watch this. I have to find the time to get here and watch this. And I did. My one flaw with the whole roast is, and this is just on me, but the roast was about it was after 11 o'clock when I was done watching it. And I was like feeling really drowsy to the part where, yeah, technically I was awake for the whole thing, but there are some jokes I missed just because I was like fighting to stay awake. However, I did stay awake for the very end. I'll get to that in a minute. As for, the roast itself, I mean, Kevin Hart hosted. The Roastmaster General himself, Jeff Ross, he was there doing his thing. You had comedians like Sam Jay, Aaron Schultz, Nikki Glazer. The Two Bears, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, they were there. And you also had Randy Moss, Julian Edelman, Ron Gronkowski, Drew Bledsoe. Bill Belichick showed up. Peyton Manning showed up out of the blue. Ben Affleck showed up out of the blue. And I'm starting to see a theme. If Kevin Hart ever has keep in mind, Kevin Hart's been the host of 2 roasts, the one for Justin Bieber and this one. Whenever Kevin Hart does a roast, it seems as if something that happens is we get a cameo. Well, not a cameo. It's at least someone going up there to roast. By the true legend himself. I'm speaking, of course, of Ron Burgundy. Yeah, Ron Burgundy was there. Man, everyone who was on stage last night killed. They killed. Actually, I say Sammy Jim and Sammy P, 2 different comedians. Point is, okay, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Good comedy makes you laugh. Great comedy makes you both laugh and think. And it'd be easy for me to say that this was just, that since it was a roast, it really was just more of the former. So the roast was good. And yes, it was good. But that's not to say there weren't some very smart jokes during the roast. There totally were. It's just, for some of it, you need to have a very sick and twisted sense of humor. Which I happen to have. But there were times where I was in veritable tears. I was laughing so hard at this roast, man. Holy cow. It's hard for me to say who legit. I mean, Nikki Glazer got a standing ovation. So she was great. I mean, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, the Two Bears, doing their thing. They were awesome. I love me some Bert Kreischer. A lot of Tom Brady's old teammates, you got like Randy Moss, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, Drew Bledsoe. They were hilarious. As soon as, again, I started feeling really tired toward like the last 45 minutes. Like, when Aaron Schultz was on, that's I think when I started getting really drowsy. And then, like, it was him, then Ben Affleck, then Peyton Manning. And, yeah, I remember them being up there, but I was just fighting so hard to stay awake, I can't remember exactly what jokes they said. But I do remember them being very, very, very funny. For sure. Like, I was, even when I was feeling tired, I was definitely smiling throughout this whole thing. And how could you not smile? It was a roast. But yeah, we gotta get to the man of the hour himself. I speak, of course, of one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. I mean, listen, I've always advocated that Tom Brady is the GOAT. In fact, I actually thought Tom Brady was great before people were even referring it. Before people were even saying greatness and Tom Brady in the same vicinity of each other, I thought Tom Brady was great. And I'll never forget when it started for me. It was around when Tom Brady was about to play in his second Super Bowl against the Eagles. And he had just won the Super Bowl the year before, and they talked about how he was put in the Super Bowl at the last minute against the greatest show on turf. And he led the team to victory, won Super Bowl MVP, so he got himself a Super Bowl ring. He gets to So it's a year later, and he's back to the Super Bowl again. And and people are talking about what he did the year before. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, wait, Tom Brady just won the Super Bowl. What makes you guys think he won't do it again? And he did it again. Fast forward about 2 years because they didn't make the Super Bowl that year. And it's against the Carolina Panthers. Now, I remember everyone in my whole town, even my own family, were picking the Panthers. Not me. I was the only one rooting for the Patriots because of Tom Brady. I mean, admittedly, I will admit, I heard Tom Brady, and this is back when they were showing the Brady Bunch on Nickelodeon for reruns. So, yeah, the word Brady was in my head. I see Tom Brady, I'm like, I should watch this guy. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've made fun of Tom Brady before. I even rooted against Tom Brady. I mean, I'll be honest, I was rooting against him for those 2 Super Bowls against the Giants, which made it all the sweeter when the Giants won. So, yeah, I made fun of Tom Brady before. I made a lot of people. Listen, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, but it also makes him all the more hateable. At least for those who actually do hate him. I do not hate Tom Brady, of course. I want to meet Tom Brady someday. That'd be really cool. Maybe someday I will. Of course I saw when he beat the Seahawks thanks to Malcolm Butler. I saw when he made the greatest comeback ever, 28-3. I even remember his last Super Bowl with the Patriots because that was when my brother and I were arguing the entire time. And then he goes to Tampa, and he immediately wins the 7th one. Like, listen, I will always advocate that Tom Brady is the GOAT. Sure, there's going to be some imitators. You know, I mean, listen, I love me some Patrick Mahomes. I have love and respect for Patrick Mahomes. He will never be Tom Brady, okay? Because there's just an aura about Tom Brady that makes him, I mean, for a lot of people, really hateable. But at the same time, you give the man his flowers. And even though this was a roast, the greatest roast of all time, and yes, it lived up to the hype, they gave Tom Brady his flowers. They absolutely did. There was just a lot of very funny jokes, and a whole lot of laughs were had. So, Tom Brady, once again, you proved you're the greatest of all time. Honestly, you didn't even need to do this roast to prove it. I already knew. But you did it anyway. And for that, you have my unending respect. So, to Tom Brady, Kevin Hart, Jeff Ross, Vicky Glazer, Aaron Schultz, Sammy V, the 2 Bears, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, Randy Moss, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, Drew Bledsoe, Bill Belichick, Ben Affleck, Peyton Manning. You guys put on the greatest roast of all time. And I really do hope there's another roast. I really hope they never stop doing this. And I love that Jeff Ross, I'll spoil one joke. And Jeff Ross says, everyone's afraid to do roasts now because people are PC. Tom Brady wasn't afraid. And he wasn't. He took those jokes like a champ. He was smiling through it all. And when he got up there to do his jokes, he killed. This is just such a great roast. It was. I have nothing bad to say about this whole thing at all. I mean, what can I say, man? It was a roast, and they roasted Tom Brady. It was quite literally the perfect way to end the best weekend I've had in a long time. Nuff said. I hope you'll like this video. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very home in this video. For all you guys watching, Joe today, hopefully have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to Channel, I'm always going to be here to lend and always have your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.